Hello everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. And today I'm going to be painting some of my most favorite things, which are peonies and lilacs. So here they are, straight from the garden. And what we have here is a tree peony. This is called Hanakasoy, and I have a couple of them in my garden. And let me see if I can get my hand next to it. You can see that it is, sorry, there, that it's the full width of my hand. So we're looking at a 8 to 10 inch flower and sometimes bigger. And then I also have a couple of single peonies, which I think are exquisite. This one is very fragrant. It's absolutely delicious. And then I have two lilacs, and I'm afraid that I planted them so long ago I don't remember what the name of these cultivars are, but they're but I remember they were very special at the time, and of course they are incredibly fragrant as well. And then these little blue flowers that are here in the background, these are Spanish bluebells, and they're coming up all over the garden, and they just, the entire garden looks amazing today. It is looking like it may rain. If it stays dry this afternoon, I'll try to go out there and make a quick video to post so that everybody can see what's happening, because it's very special. Anyway, enough talking. I'm going to paint a quick study of this bouquet. I'm planning on it being very impressionistic, very loose. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because there's too much to it to spend too much time on it. And I also want to announce that I'm adding a very special watercolor class online this month, painting peonies. And you know, as you know, the flowers come and go so fast, so this is a really special chance for you to learn to paint a collection of peonies. So I hope you'll tune in for that. You can get all the information here on my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com. Go to notes and subscribe, and I will send you the information about the class. Now, I don't have the event posted on the website yet. Hopefully I'll get that up by tomorrow, so you can check back and read more about it. So let's get started. So I'm using natural light today. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not underneath here. A little bit. Okay, there we go. Oh my, okay. So that's what I'm looking at. Wow. And this is North Light in my studio. And the window is over to my left. And I've got a ceramic tray here that I thought I would use today so you could see some of the color mixtures, because it's going to go really fast. So I'm going to start by putting out a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red, and a little bit of blue. And in class I will go over these colors and color mixtures and the color wheel, also how to learn your values and gradations and a lot of other things. But for today we're just going to paint because these flowers are just too gorgeous. So I also have a spritzer, so I'm going to give my paper a little bit of a spritz. This is hot press watercolor paper, and my brush is a Winsor & Newton Series 7 number 7. And it is a sable brush. For those of you who are unfamiliar, it is the traditional watercolor brush that people have been using for hundreds of years, and it has the capacity to hold water really well. So for this painting, because I knew it was going to be really wet and juicy, I wanted to have a good big brush so I could get a lot of nice fluidity going on in the picture today. So let me just check my settings. Make sure I'm not talking to myself. No? Okay, good, I'm on. Now, if this is your first time here, I love your comments. Please comment, ask any questions. I'll get back to you after the demonstration. But while I'm painting, I don't stop to answer questions. So just please be patient, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, so first off, I'm just going to mix some puddles here. All right, so there are my 3 colors. And I'm going to, excuse me, let me grab a cup of coffee. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of this yellow and bring it down here to mix some green. And that's kind of a cool green. I'm going to warm that up a little bit with more yellow. Until we get something like that, kind of a warm medium green. Just sort of a basic average. Okay. I'm going to stand up for this one, and I'm just going to begin to drop some colors on the page. There we go. Now these single peonies are just so delicate and romantic. This one started out as a very pale yellow. You can still see some of the yellow. And I see an ant walking across it right now. But as they age, they begin to pale. So it's sort of turning into a kind of a creamy vanilla tone right now. Just want to get the shapes of some of these petals here. And I also want to get that orangey yellow in the center. we go. Now that, I would call that the first stage. Just getting my composition established on the page, sort of organizing my colors and shapes. And I'm happy to let these colors sort of travel wherever it is that they want to go at this point, because it's nice and light. And all that's going to happen is that the beautiful quality of the watercolor paint itself is going to become apparent. Get some of these little buds. Okay, let me move this up a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to begin to add some of these darker tonalities. And for instance, in the center of this gorgeous tree peony, I'm going to increase the value a bit in these areas where the petals drop down into shadow. And I'm going to mix up a kind of a red violet here. Now, for those of you who may be struggling with your watercolors and think, oh my God, you make that look so easy. Well, I am painting with a degree of knowledge that I've accumulated over the years just through practice and looking at other people's pictures, looking at the old masters' paintings, and I've also had the benefit of some terrific teachers. But I also want to say that, you know, once you have a basic understanding, it's not that difficult. It is challenging, but one of the things that can help you is having good quality materials, and I always stress that. So at this stage, really, the good brush, the good paper, the good paints are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me here. Now I'm adding a little more blue to my green mixture to get a darker tone, and I'm just going to tuck that in to some of these areas. And I also want to announce that for those of you who are feeling uncertain of your drawing abilities, we're going to have a painting with ink class this month using that beautiful Peony set that's going to be available later today from Stamping Up, and we will be stamping an image and then using water-based ink to paint it in a style somewhat similar to this, just slightly modified. So if you're a stamper or a Stamping Up demo and you'd like to improve your watercolor skills, that is a good class for you to look out for. Because of all the flowers going on in the gardens this month, I will be adding extra classes. So again, if you're not getting notes from Dandelion Cottage, go to my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com and sign up for notes, and you will be made aware of all of the upcoming classes I have going on this month. Alright, so while I'm talking, I'm just letting this set up a little bit. I'm giving it a chance to dry. And the next thing I want to work on is this flower here. So I want to model some of the form of that flower. So I need a nice kind of a toned down kind of everything here. So if I mix all the colors together, I'm going to get a nice grayed sort of pinkish mixture. And I'm going to test it, see how I like it. Yeah, that works. There we go. So I'm beginning to very gently model some of these forms. I'm going to do the same thing for this yellow toned flower, but this time add a little more yellow to the mix. I think I want that a little cooler. Something like that. Now I may not have enough time today to put in the final details because it is a humid day here in New England. It's about to rain. It looks very overcast, and so my paper is drying very slowly. And when that happens, you take advantage of it because it allows you to do certain techniques longer than if the paper were to dry more quickly. But it also means that you might have to take a little break and go check your email or walk the dog or have a cup of tea or whatever while you're waiting for your paper to dry a little bit. I don't use hair dryers. I'm not that impatient and I don't want the noise and the hassle. So I'd rather just walk away from it, come back with a fresh eye and keep going. Now I'm using the point of the brush to do some little indication of the shapes of the petals on the lilac here. These brushes are made by hand. They're extraordinary. Each hair is placed to form a perfect point. And the belly of the brush, which is the wider area, creates a reservoir that holds the water so that you have wonderful control by how you press the brush to paper of how much water is actually released. So like everything else, it takes practice, but over time it becomes second nature and your brush becomes really an extension of your intentions. So they are expensive, but honestly, I have brushes that I've had for 40 years. I have a brush that somebody gave me on my 22nd birthday. So if you take care of your brushes, they will last a very long time. Alright, so I'm adding a little more red to my yellow mixture here to get a nice orange. I'm going to get that dropped into some of these areas. There we go. And there's also some beautiful little red accents in this one. I'm just going to pop those in. And then I'm going to mix a dark kind of an earthy orange tone. I'm just going to get that in the center here. So in this picture, which is very prismatic, has a lot of color going on, I think you can see why just painting with 3 colors is sufficient, particularly when you're learning your color mixtures. This is a great way to practice and see what your colors are capable of doing. And I recommend lots and lots of practice time just playing with color and watching the phenomenon take place. You know, color's a very interesting thing. Color is not on the object that you're painting. Color is something that happens in the air, in the atmosphere between the object and your eye. And my chickens have terrible nighttime vision, but they have extraordinary daytime vision, and they can see ultraviolet light. That's the trade-off for not having good nighttime vision. Can you imagine what the natural world looks like to them in full spectrum color? It's a magical thing. All right, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of my darkest tones and just drop them in here and there sparingly. So I want a little bit over here, deep into the recesses of these leaves. And I'm going to get into that tree peony again. Just a little. Now, another thing I want to tell you is that when we started the picture today, I had a clear palette, but I do not clean my palette. I wanted to show you that I just had those 3 colors. But all of this paint that is on my palette now is completely usable again. So even if it dries, that's fine. It can be reactivated with water. So I'm not going to waste it. Okay, well, I think that's it for today. I may or I may not continue to work on the picture, but in any event, I have to wait to let that dry before I go into the next stage. It's fine to leave it just as is if you want to have a nice, loose, beautiful, colorful picture as this is now. Or you can go back and add a little more detail, as much or as little as you like. Now I am going to use my paper towel here, and I'm just going to lift out a little bit of the extra paint on this lilac because it's just getting a little darker than I want it to be. There we go. That's better. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll consider joining my online watercolor class later this month on painting peonies in a style very much like this, and also for the painting with ink. And I have also already let people know, and I'm looking for my punch, here it is, about the special in-color class I'm offering using the small bloom punch. And I have a stamp set that is no longer available, Thoughtful Blooms. There it is. That's what it looks like. And I'm going to be giving one of these to the first 7 people to sign up for that class. So so if you're interested in any of those things, and here are some of the colors that I'm talking about. If you're interested in any of those things, please subscribe to Dandelion Cottage Design, or I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to Notes, and you will have all the information. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you get inspired and want to get out into your garden and paint some of this beauty, and I'll see you on Saturday at 12 noon for Paper Crafting Saturday.